What if I told you that there was a tool that could double your Twitter engagement and it's free? It's pretty cool, right? Well, that tool is Twitter Analytics, and you already have access to it just by having a Twitter account. So today I'm going to dive in, show you how to use this tool to effectively step up your social media game. My name is Sid, and I'm here to share my experience in the field of social media marketing so that you can stop grinding and start growing. Let's get into it. Before we get started, I just wanted to welcome all of the new subscribers to the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for checking out that last video. Thanks to all of you, that is the most watched video on my channel so far, and seeing such a great reception for it and so many people saying that they picked up some things that were useful to them in their social media journey, it really motivated me to keep making this content and sharing my experiences in the field over the last few years so that you guys can stop wasting your time and start actually getting some benefit out of these things, because I really do want to help you actually get somewhere with this. I don't want to see everyone just grinding away on Twitter and on social media, just not really seeing any benefit out of it. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't checked out that video yet, it is 5 Twitter pro tips to help you grow organically. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. That's a great place to start out if you're new to the channel and you're just looking to start out your social media growth. So let's get right into it. Let's figure out these analytics and see what you can do to start improving your engagement. Finding Twitter analytics is super easy, and you've probably already stumbled across it by accident. Just go to those 3 little dots that say more, click them, and there's going to be a link to analytics. That's your #1 free tool to start cranking up your social media engagement. When you first get into Twitter Analytics, it's going to be a little bit confusing. There's a lot of data and numbers and graphs just thrown at you right off the bat, but it's really not that complicated once you get into it. That's why you're watching this video. We're gonna get you there, don't worry, and it's not gonna take that long. There's 4 main things that you can do with Twitter Analytics, in my opinion, that are the most important. First, don't worry too much about those numbers at the top. They're good to kind of see where you are in the month, and it is worth checking them periodically. But if you're seeing a lot of red, don't worry about it a whole lot. What you're going to want to pay attention to more is your overall trends, whether your growth and your engagement is going up, or whether it's plateaued, or whether it's slowly dropping down. That's going to tell you more than those first little numbers at the top. That's just a quick check-in to see how you're doing for the month, the past 28-day period, compared to the last 28-day period, and see what you need to work on to start getting those numbers up before the end of the month. So you see red, don't panic, it's okay, you can pull it back. The first thing that you're going to want to check out when you get into analytics is your top mention for the last 28 days. This is a great networking opportunity. This person is out there singing your praises and blasting your content and your profile out in front of a wider audience, and you should show some appreciation. Make sure that if you're not following this person, go by, drop them a follow if you like their content, consider shooting them a direct message and getting a conversation going. They're obviously already interested in your content, and they're helping you out tremendously by giving you free publicity. Your top follower is very similar in that it's just an amazing networking opportunity plopped in your lap by the awesomeness of Twitter Analytics. Treat this a lot like your top mention. This is an amazing opportunity to get your content and your brand in front of a much wider audience. I'm not saying to take advantage of people, but take advantage of the situation. Go out, make a connection with them, and if they're genuinely interested in your content, think about it this way. Instead of, say, tweeting out to 100 people, you could potentially get a retweet from them, and you're now tweeting out for 5,100 people. And that's a huge jump, and that's going to be a major driver for your growth, especially early on. The next thing that you need to check out is your top tweet. This is going to give you a nice little snapshot of how your community is reacting to your content and what they're really getting behind. What do people who are following you enjoy? Give them more of that. So now moving off of the main page, your overview, go up to where it says tweets and give that a click. This is what you really should be paying attention to the most. This is going to give you more detailed breakdowns that are going to be useful in increasing your engagement. Check to see if there's any trends on this little bar graph at the top. And if you're noticing that any days are a little bit more active than others, then start focusing more attention on those days. Currently, for me right now, my activity has been a little bit all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. So this doesn't really do me a whole lot of good at this exact moment. But I do know that on average, Fridays are usually pretty good days for me, and Mondays are usually pretty good days for me. So those are 2 days that I really focus on. Saturdays and Sundays are very slow on Twitter overall, so I don't put a whole lot of my effort into that. If I have a video coming out or if I have a clip that I want to post, I'm going to save that for the days that are generally higher engagement on average. The next thing you're going to want to do is change the search parameters to a 90-day period. And this is going to give you a nice overview of how your profile is doing and whether you need to start putting in some extra work to start ramping those numbers up, or whether you're on an upward trend and you're doing pretty good and you need to kind of just keep doing what you're doing and tweak a few little things. You don't need major surgery, you just got to take your social media vitamins and keep your health up. Your engagement rate is a great indicator of success with your Twitter profile. And a lot of people might look at this and go, oof, that's kind of low, but honestly, 2.5 to 3 is generally considered good engagement. If you're above 3, you're crushing it. Taking a look at these little graphs on the side, check out the overall trends, and if you notice that there was a spike at some point, like I had here, then go back and see what happened on that day. On that time in my feed, I had a really successful tweet that was kind of out of the norm for me. It got well over 3,000 likes, and so that wasn't really something that I could expect to keep up all the time, so I'm not too worried about that. But if you notice these sudden dips, check out what you did differently during that time. Were you posting at different times of the day? Were you changing up your style of content? Were you not posting as often? Were you posting too much? These are things that you can take into consideration based off of these dips in engagement, these dips in likes, all of that. And it'll help you to diagnose the problems without having to just go, well, I don't know, I guess activity's down this week. Something that's really useful to me is checking out top tweets every now and then. These are basically like your greatest hits. This is what your community really loved and they wanted more of, so give it to them. Make sure that your future content lines up with similar themes, even going down to like formatting, the way that you space out your tweets, the images that you put in, things like that. Just like that top tweet for the last 28 days, these top tweets over the last 90 days are an even more valuable resource of tailoring your content for maximum exposure, shareability, and ultimately engagement success. I've mentioned before how important it is to time out your tweets during the day for when your community is most active if you want to maximize your reach. So how I do it is I'll go back through about every 28 days and I'll check what my top tweets were for that period. Then, since unfortunately Twitter Analytics just shows you the day, it doesn't show you the time, I go back through my feed and I check for those tweets and I figure out what time they were and kind of just see if there's any pattern to it. For me personally, I noticed around 3 p.m. things start picking up, so I start focusing most of my attention 3 p.m. on till about 8 or so when it slows back down again. Mornings are generally pretty dead for me. Weekends are generally pretty dead as well, but this is going to vary depending on your community, where everyone is located in the world, what their personal schedules are, and that's how you're going to be able to tailor it, is by going back, checking top tweets, checking your most popular content, and seeing when people are popping off. A really cool resource for me, just as a quick bonus, is Buffer. This isn't a promoted video at all. This is just something that I found useful. They offer 14-day free trials. Most of their analytics are very similar to what you're going to find on Twitter Analytics, but they're just broken down a little bit more simple. The really cool thing is the answers section. after this period, it takes them a little bit to catch up. I noticed that on mine, it just wasn't really registering correctly at first, but after a few days, it started getting things figured out. It's gonna tell you, without having to go back and check all of these things like we talked about, how many times a day is the best for you to post on average, what days are the best for you to post, what type of post, whether it's text, picture, video. It's going to give you all of these in a handy breakdown, and that's going to help you really bring your A game to your Twitter profile and start tailoring your content a little bit better so you're not wasting time on things that aren't working. So there you go, guys. That's how you can use Twitter Analytics to successfully increase engagement and start tailoring your content to your community. So that's it. I told you it was pretty simple. I didn't lie. It's free. It's easy. Make sure that you're using Twitter Analytics to step up your social media game, get in that groove, get that growth, get that engagement, all the buzzwords, just throwing them out there. Get all the buzzwords. But anyways, if you liked the video and you found some use in it, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps out the channel, helps us grow and get this information out to as many people as possible. I appreciate everyone watching. I hope you have a great weekend.